welcome JOJO.
What the heck? I didn't even pick up the microphone.
10 hut.
Oh my
Hike.
God. Pipe is still smoking.
How are you today, JoJo?
It was great until I came here.
Well, I'm glad. Do you think that it is possible for marijuanals to taste like something other than marijuanals? Marijuanals being weed, cannabis.
Yes. Yes. Because a friend of mine brought me a joint that straight up tastes like watermelon. Watermelon.
Melon.
Yes.
Nice. Jolly Rancher or
No,
regular?
like legitimate watermelon.
Wow, that's kind of beautiful.
Yep. Watermelon on a summer's night.
That sounds like a lot of fun. What's your favorite kind of summer's night?
The kind where it's like warm and humid outside, but it's like a level of warmth and it's like a perfect balance of the two to where your skin feels tingly and nice. And you're laying on a hammock in the backyard and there's fireflies everywhere. Like that.
That sounds like a nice summer night.
Yep.
Have you had many of those lately?
Bro, no. There are no fireflies up here.
That's right. You grew up in the South where there were
the little lightning bugs.
Did you used to catch them in mason jars?
Like,
are they hard to catch?
They're easy to catch. The problem is if you're trying to catch more, it's hard to not let the other ones out. So it's like you will have caught like 17, but like you left with like 2.
Damn. Bioluminescence is pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's cool.
Do you wish that you would glow sometimes?
No.
Me neither. I think it would not be.
I don't need people to know where I am all the time.
Why is that? What is the glowing thing? I forget. Why do animals glow? What is the advantage, or what do they do that for?
I mean, I have no idea. I guess it depends on the animal.
Like the lightning bug, what do you think it does for them?
I mean, if they're only out at night when it's not as crazy hot and humid, that's when they're like, hey, I'm available. So like they flash their little lights. Everything is about mating and continuing
it's a red light
the species. Like, I mean, not everything, because I think that some stuff is just like it just happened. Like I think flamingos are pink because of like the shrimp they eat or something. Like that has nothing to do with sex. It's just that's what they ate and that's what happened.
Sex allows these characteristics to be passed on, but it's not essential to their creation.
No.
Good observation. I like that. So, you're JoJo. What is your actual name?
Why are you asking?
So that I may advertise to these wonderful people who consume this media about your wonderful projects.
My real name is Jaylyn.
Nice.
Yes.
What does Jaylyn do in life?
Jaylyn works for a motorcycle parts and apparel company and is a junior software developer at a remote software company and sings sometimes, fails to dance, sucks at mini golf.
You're
like
that was quite a list, and then you started going into some pretty random shit.
It's not that random.
Well, no, it's probably connected in some way. I acknowledge that.
Well, like you asked about me,
one at a time. So you work for a motorcycle parts and apparel company. Are you allowed to talk about that?
I don't know.
Well, let's do it anyways. Nobody watches this shit anyways. Anyways.
Okay, that was random.
Good.
Anyway,
we like to keep it that way. So, what do you do at the Rev? Vroom vroom. Sorry. I'm gonna stop.
I help people get their stuff. And like that's it.
Nice. What's the best jacket for motorcycles right now?
That's a stupid question.
What do you mean? How's
That's
it
a stupid question.
What's the
Because
jacket
the
that'll keep me
jackets
safest?
because it depends on what you're riding.
Well,
like,
is
it
this how you
depends on
talk to
what
your
style-
customers?
Yes.
God damn it! They probably like it too. They're like, tell
I'm
me
like,
what I
bro,
need.
Like, that makes no sense.
Some old man, he's like, yeah, I don't know what to wear. Tell me what
It's
kind
like,
of clothes
okay,
to
well,
put on.
are you doing ADV or are you riding dirt?
Yeah,
or are you
I'm
on the
I'm
street?
riding
Are
the
you
dirt.
on a
I like to
Harley?
get
Are you
dirty.
on a sport bike? Like, it depends. There's a different jacket for what you're doing.
I like ADV.
Like, people would think you're fucking stupid if you wore a Fox Racing jersey on a Harley.
Why not? I like to do
Because, like,
that.
why would you do that? And you have a freaking helmet with a visor. And you're like,
I don't know about that. You can't talk about. You're talking about one thing at a time. The jersey. You can wear a Fox jersey on a Harley. What
But
if
like
you ride
people
dirt
will be
bikes
like,
too?
what? But you said, what's the best thing for that? Like, why?
Oh, okay.
Why would you use the
Back
best
to
thing
that.
for dirt on a Harley?
Yeah.
Like,
Sorry, I thought we were completely off
no,
track. We're
no,
still
no,
on track.
no. Yeah.
What do I get for if I like to ride in the dirt, but I could also go on the street? ADV kind of stuff, but leaning towards the dirt bike side of shit.
Probably just like a climb jacket.
Oh, just like the most expensive jacket out there. That's actually a great recommendation. You're right. If
Like
Yeah.
the transitions
already knew
relatively
I kinda already
not
knew that.
completely flawless, but like functional in like a really real way. So, yeah.
Yeah, I have a pair of climb pants, and
Yep.
not sponsored by them, but they're great fucking pants. Like I need to find them. I left them somewhere, but like they're really cool. They have like the D30 everywhere.
Oh, cool.
and
Yeah.
The stance of them, they're very like futuristic moto.
Mhm.
So I don't know. You kind of look like cool
Yeah,
wearing
you
them
look
around.
badass. Yeah.
Or like
And they're
anime
great.
character.
So, yeah. There you go.
Climb. Best shit ever. You're right. I would tend to agree. Not that I know anything. I've been out of the loop for a while. But that's cool.
That's
What
what it
is the
is.
company that you work for?
Revzilla.com.
Hell yeah. Revzilla.
Yeah.
So you ride bikes?
I ride a bike.
Nice.
I guess you could say bikes because I've ridden more than one bike, but I only have one.
How did you get into motorcycle riding?
My dad mentioned it when I was a kid, and he would work on cars all the time, and so through working on cars, he would always talk about the motorcycles he used to have. And then, like, I always loved riding my regular bike, so I was like, man, like, this would be freaking badass if it could go, like, 1,000 times as fast.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I was like, that would be so awesome. And I could literally go wherever I want. That's perfect. It would just make me feel like a kid again. So as I was growing up, I really wanted a motorcycle, but like realistically, a motorcycle as your first form of transportation isn't really functional. So my first
smart.
vehicle was a car, and I wanted a motorcycle, but I didn't have a job, and so I would just ask my mom, and she would always say no. Because
why the fuck she's gonna get you a motorcycle?
because my dad was in a bad accident when he was younger and he almost died.
Yeah, doubly so.
So my
Don't get
mom
her a
is
fucking
like,
motorcycle.
don't get a fucking motorcycle. Like, it's dangerous. You're not, no, don't ever do that. No daughter of mine, blah, blah, blah.
No daughter
Like,
of mine shall be
just like,
riding
exactly.
a damned motorbike. Oh.
So,
Oh.
but like deep down, I was always like, man, I want a fucking bike. So eventually I was able to like work to get the money, and I dropped cash on my first bike. And I was like,
Oh,
I'm the most
shit.
badass person ever. And then I rode that thing for like 3 months, and I'm like, I need a bigger one. So my dad, after I got my bike, he was like, well, like my daughter
you
can't have a
crash in
bike.
those
Like,
first
I
3
have to have
months?
a. Yes, I did. I
Okay.
totally did. Two.
What the fuck? Holy shit.
Two on. I think there were 2 spills on my bike, and then
There
1 spill
were.
on my dad's bike. Yeah.
Damn.
So, and I was like fucked up because I didn't realize like that for his engine and his BMW, like it's facing sideways. So if you like tip it over, like it
gonna
starts to
grind
leak.
your leg.
Yeah. So then when you turn it back on, it starts smoky because it has to like burn off all the excess. I don't know exactly how to explain it, but essentially that's what's happening. So that's what happened when I crashed my dad's bike. To be fair though, his clutch was slipping and I didn't know. So
There are
so it
issues with the
slipped
bike.
and yeah.
Yeah, on a big bike when the clutch slips like that, that's like fucking.
You're like, whoa.
I've been on
that's
a
a
little
lot of
bike.
weight to balance. Like
Like
that's
one of
like
the-
750 pounds.
No,
I was
that's
like,
going down.
oh,
You're
I'm not
going
doing
down,
this.
brother.
No. So, but yeah, after I got my bike, my dad was like, well, you can't have a bike and I not have one. So I actually had the money to cover his down payment. So he just like had to make the payments. So he didn't have to pay anything
You bought
to get
your
his.
dad a bike?
No, he's paying for the rest of it. I paid the down payment, so all he had to do was make the payments. Yeah.
You didn't buy the whole bike.
No. No,
Okay.
just paid the down because he didn't have the money at the time, and it was BMW. So,
Oh yeah, that's okay. Sorry, for some reason I thought you were talking about the Honda.
bro, no way.
No, I was like, yeah,
that
BMW,
thing's like $5,000.
Yeah, no,
like no way. A
BMW's like-
BMW, yeah,
like $20,000-$30,000.
exactly. So I
But,
covered the down for that, and I just told him to make the payments,
Those
and he
bikes
got a
are
pretty
badass.
decent
Do you ever
deal.
watch the Dakar races or anything?
I think only like once or twice.
That's
honestly.
crazy. Like they go across this big ass desert in
Yeah.
Africa,
Mhm.
and like, yeah, just a major test of like endurance of
Yep.
machine and person. But yeah, that's super
Yeah.
cool. So you ride motorcycles. That's nice.
Yeah.
I think riding motorcycles is fun. That's it. No, I'm kidding.
Oh
So-
man,
You're
part of
like,
me
"Oh,
was like, I get to go home.
No, that's why the door is always locked on the Mr. Big show, so the guests cannot escape prematurely.
Seriously? Did you seriously lock the door?
Oh,
No, you didn't.
Totally, I fucking did.
You didn't.
Yeah.
Look at. I'm looking at it.
I lock
It's-
everybody in here.
Like how though? Like did you make?
The Mr.
Did
Big
you rotate
show
the
is
locks?
about my control issues and how I need to run the show. Me, Mr. Big. I'm Mr. Big, and these
Okay.
guests, they're gonna do whatever the fuck I tell them. I ask a question,
Dude,
they're gonna
this is
fucking
why you
answer it.
didn't have someone to interview tonight.
And you know what? They like it. They come back for more.
Oh my
Give
god.
me some Mr. Big show.
Oh
I
my
love
God.
the Mr. Big
I'm
show.
dead.
Put me on
That's
the Mr. Big show.
ridiculous.
So, next on the agenda, you said
You have an
You said
agenda.
you said you're a remote software developer. I remember these things. We're going to talk about each of them.
Oh, okay. All right.
What? So you not only are a badass motorcycle wheelie warrior, but you code.
Yes.
What is that?
What do you mean? What is that?
Are you typing in zeros and ones? Are you like a machine?
Bro, no, we are so far away from that now.
Are you? You're
No,
doing binary?
we figured out a way to write
Are you doing
things in
8-bit?
English so that the
16-bit?
computer understands the zeros and
64-bit,
ones.
128-bit. How many bits are we at? What's the bit rate? What's the bit depth?
I don't know.
Are we dithering?
No, bro.
Anyways, sorry, I'm being rude. Mr. Big Show. JoJo.
Yeah.
What is coding? Explain it in the easiest, most layman's way. Are you using words and symbols to... Or is
Coding's
it numbers?
basically just learning how to speak another language. Like
Is it English?
not always.
Is it
I mean,
the letters of the English language?
it's letters.
Well, what is code? Like when somebody says I'm coding, are they writing out strings of essentially text and
but
symbols?
not always.
What is it?
Well, it
Numbers? Sorry. Holy fucking shit, shut up.
Like, why are you asking me questions? Like, if
I
you
have
don't want to
I
listen
have
to the
such an
answer.
insatiable thirst for knowledge that I get a new question after I ask my question.
But you ask so many questions, you never get an answer to any of your questions.
We're
So you're
going
not
one at a time.
actually
It's a long format
improving your
conversation.
knowledge.
Be patient with with me, please.
Oh my
I'm
god.
new. I'm just
Oh
learning.
my god.
I'm
Okay.
a baby
okay.
podcast. Little baby podcast.
I thought it was So Mr. Big Show is a little bitty podcast.
As
Is
of
it
now,
also oxymoronic?
No, I don't know. This depends on your
Ah,
perspective.
just moronic? Okay.
Moronic. I do have Oxy for sale.
Wow.
No, I don't.
Wow,
don't.
that digressed so fast.
I was like, where's the joke in there? Oh, it's a really
Oh,
bad
it's about
one.
the drugs.
Yes, the drugs.
The joke is in the drugs.
I one time I said I
Oh my
injected
God.
heroin into my eyeballs.
What the fuck? Wouldn't you? You
It's
would
all a joke.
die.
Yeah,
I feel like you
no,
totally
some people
die.
do that.
Oh my god. Mm-mm.
Some people. Anyways, back to coding.
That would. I can just.
I hate needles.
I know.
I got fully vaccinated though.
Yay.
Anyways,
Did you face away from the camera just then?
no, I'm not doing anything weird or strange or that would signal that I'm
Not
maybe. Anyways,
okay.
so no. I heard a weird resonance.
Yeah, I was in the drum.
It's cool. Coding. What is it? The
It's
mystery.
basically just learning how to tell computers what to do.
What is the language that computers speak like?
There are several because we make the languages and we teach them to the computer.
Do they go into binary?
Yeah, everything that you code today just is translated to binary for the computer.
That's what digital means.
But there's different,
Well, I guess you could have analog.
like in
zeros and
order
ones.
for us to write something in like, because a lot of languages are more semantic now where they'll use words that are descriptive in the English language to define what one part of the code is. So like if you're writing in HTML, then you would use tags that are like header. Like this is the head of the website. This is the body. This is the footer at the bottom. Like,
kind of like
and
an
then if
essay
you're like
or a piece of
doing
writing.
something in like React, then it's like, oh, this is a card that I'm showing on the website. This is the title of the card. This is the body. Like this is the text. And then there's parts you can add. Like I want the color blue and stuff like that. But in order for you to get to that point, like what you're writing has to be translated into like a more condensed form of the same information, just in a way that's easier for the computer to process. And then from there, it's like translated more into the ones and zeros that the computer understands. So the code that we're using and writing today isn't even actually what like writing original code from scratch is. Like it's so far removed. So the things that people are learning to do today aren't even the foundation of like what they're doing. Like if one person wanted to learn how to do all of those things, like it would be a lifetime, because that's just like decades of millions of people's knowledge going into one thing. So basically like writing code is basically now just learning how to use software and having an understanding of logic enough to say, oh, the computer would understand it this way because logically this is what makes sense. So it's really just being able to think critically and problem solve to figure out like what you're not communicating properly to the computer to get the result that you want.
Do you remember shit, or are you good at looking up stuff that
Oh, like
you've already
everybody
learned?
just has to be like a Google badass because there's too much information. Like you can get good at one thing if you want to focus on that, but it's just going to change. So it's like, it's almost like there isn't a point in fully mastering anything because in a couple months it's going to be different.
How long does it take to learn how to code?
I think that anyone
at
can
the
like
level that is required to get like, I guess, jobs like the ones you have, whatever.
that's different because
Is
it
it
basically just
Like,
well,
I guess be a
because-
proficient coder enough to like call yourself a coder, I guess.
I mean, if you can code a video game and like code a sequence, you can argue that like you're a coder because you actually created something with this information. So it's basically more just like how many things have you done. It's not so much like how much have you remembered. Like literally all you have to do is prove that you know how to do it, and that's the only requirement. More or less.
Interesting.
Yeah. So.
Do you enjoy your job? Remote web design?
That I enjoy.
Or is that a different job?
That's separate. What?
Oh
wait,
shit!
yeah.
I'm mixing
No,
things.
no.
I'm
You're
sorry.
right. There's Revzilla, and there's the software development job.
What else? What was the next thing?
I don't know.
You're a singer. Oh my god!
Is
You
that
do
the next
music.
thing I said?
I think that's.
That's what
very
you're choosing to focus on.
interesting.
Okay.
So, tell me more about your music. Why are you, why, what are you, what, when, how? All of the questions at once, though. Pick one.
You just mean like how did it start and how's it going?
Why music, when music, how music, what music?
Why music? Because when I was a kid, my mom sang in a choir, and so she was around music a lot, all the time, and she would take me with her. And my uncle plays the guitar, and
Unky Herb?
my Uncle Duck. His real name is Uncle Chuck, but when I was a kid, I
Uncle
would call him
Duck.
Uncle Duck. So now his name is Uncle Duck.
I love that.
So my Uncle Duck plays guitar. My cousin plays bass. My sister is an opera singer. My aunt used to sing in a rock band. My dad used to play saxophone and bass fiddle. My brother
Bass
plays
fiddle?
guitar. His twin plays drums. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So my cousin Kenny was a saxophone player, I think. I think he was a saxophone player too. My godmom plays clarinet, basically all wind instruments. She plays every wind instrument and keyboards. So like I was around music all the time, and we had a piano in the house, and I would always play it. And then when I was in 8th grade, my parents split up, and I just kind of ended up working out that music was a place for me to express myself and for people to actually listen to me, because as things were happening around me and my family that I had no control over, I didn't get to choose where I lived. Like, I didn't get to necessarily always pick the clothes that I wore. Like, I didn't really feel like I had a voice or a say in my family, just 'cause like my parents were so focused on what they were going through. I don't think that they always thought about our mental or emotional health more than our physical health. Like, are they fed? Do they have clothes? Are they going to school? Like, making sure our basic survival needs are met, that there was no room for all the other stuff. Like, there was no room for how are you feeling? Like, what do you think? There was no room for validation. So I just didn't feel like I ever was able to say anything. And then I was singing since I was a kid, because I would sing in my mom's choir, and I would force my siblings to do musicals for my parents that I wrote and directed and acted in.
Nice.
So
Mr. Big approves.
so I started playing the wall piano more after that, and I started writing music, which was basically I just put my diary entries into a song, essentially. And one day I came home from school and the piano was gone. And
The fuck?
it's because my mom sold it because she needed to be able to pay the what's it called when you put a deposit? She had to pay the deposit on the apartment that she was going to move into with my
Security
brothers,
deposit.
and me and my
Yeah.
sister had to stay with my dad with no wall piano. I cried. I don't know how long I cried, but I cried long enough for my mom to go to the store and buy me a dinky electric keyboard to put in my room. So, and I was so happy, and I was like, oh my God, I feel so heard. Like, because now it was like an emotion, something that I was feeling actually resulted in my parents paying attention and doing something about it. And so I played the piano all the time, and eventually, like, my aunt recognized that I was into music, and she kind of just pushed me in that direction. I was like, well, you should do this open mic. And like, I went on tour back in the day. And so like, you can do these things and here's how you do this. And so she kind of like coached me up on like what to do. And she taught me about stage presence and things like that. And she taught me about how the industry worked, or at least how it worked at the time. But she gave me a foundation for that.
Recent enough.
Yeah, recent enough. So it just kind of like went from there. I started playing places. Eventually, like I got recognized by a few people. Someone paid for me to record an album, two albums. I've like played lead guitar on some people's albums. I performed on Fremont Street at the Tropicana. I'm not saying what they're called because they're old. Like them? I'm just different is the thing.
You don't want people to hear it.
Well, I don't want people to think that that's all that I am when that's not what I am anymore. And I guess I feel like if I actually told people about the old stuff, then I'd have to be held accountable to doing something new to change their minds about what they
there's
think.
There's a camera, there's audio.
Well, I mean...
But, okay, are you working on anything new?
No, because I'm too busy.
Well, all right then.
I'm back in survival mode for the time being. I had a nice run. Life happened. I'm starting over, so...
Sick.
Yep.
What is this starting over?
The starting over is going back to school, building a portfolio, working to put money back into my investment account. And from there, it's getting a better paying job or a higher paying job. And potentially building a company, investing in other things to be able to put enough money in the bank that the interest is at least $3,000 to $5,000 a month, and I can retire because I don't have to wait for a pension because I built my own, and I can retire whenever I feel like it, and I can get back to actually living like my life. Like I don't feel like working every day just to pay for things and then not having any money left over to actually see the world that you live in, to actually experience the life that you have. Like, it just doesn't make sense. And so I feel like it makes more sense for me to do something that gives me the freedom to go somewhere if I want to go somewhere. If a family member's sick, I can be with them. If it's my daughter's birthday, I can be there to celebrate. I can be there to teach her. Like, if I have a kid.
If? Oh, shit. Okay, sorry. I thought you had a kid. I was like, where is she? I've never met her.
I don't have a kid. But, things like that to be prepared for. Like, parts of life that you want so badly to be there for, but because of money, you can't.
Is music in that picture for you?
In some ways, I still want to start my own production company, but I feel like that's not going to be until after I retire because I'd want to actually be able to focus on it and do it the way that I'd want to do it. So.
Do you still sing?
Yes, I do. I had a gig like a week ago.
This is confusing. So, are you a career musician? Are you banging them out for the dough?
No. I mean, no. Yes?
The gigs.
Yeah, I don't do a gig unless I get paid.
Well, I mean, is it something that you do for money regularly?
Not anymore. It was a couple of years ago, and then I started managing a nightclub in Orange County, and then that took all of my time, and then COVID happened.
So this gig that you did most recently, was it a pity gig? Did you enjoy it?
I didn't actually, because I only did it because I got paid. But the problem was, the night before, I was up until 5 o'clock in the morning doing homework because I knew that I had to miss class the next day, which was Saturday, and the gig was at 8 in the morning. 8 or 10, something like that. I had to leave at 8 because I think I had to make it for sound check and then something else. So I had to be up at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I was dead. I don't even know whether or not I was singing in the right keys. Also, I forgot how to play a B flat. I was
note?
like,
just the single note?
The chord on the guitar. I was like, I brought my acoustic with me, and it's because one of the girls in the band wanted to sing Black Horse and a Cherry Tree. And so I was going to play my guitar with my jamboree, and then I just forgot what B flat was. It's like D, And I was like, what's B flat? And I think I just skipped to C or something like that. And every time the B flat would come, I just wouldn't play it. And so I was like leaned over at the other guitarist. I was like, dude, how do you play B flat? He's like, oh, it's just like this. And I was like, that's not helping.
Could you say that you didn't play it because you didn't want a B flat? Great jokes here
I'll
on
give
the
you
Mr.
that
Big
one.
Show.
Good job.
Aside from your horrible gig, it sounds like you didn't enjoy, like, do you see music as something in your future? Because I gotta say, you're a really good musician, so I would hope that you would continue.
I mean, it's definitely going to be in my future. It's already in my present. I bought a brand new bass guitar and a new electronic drum kit. Oh, and I finished putting my cajon together.
Nice.
Yep. So I just got... Oh, and I got a melodica that I played at the gig. Actually, that was pretty fun.
Augustus Pablo.
I don't know who that is.
He likes to play the melodica too.
Cool.
The Mr. Big Show has another question.
You mean Mr. Big?
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
The man who doesn't know his own name.
I forgot, honestly. I can't remember him.
It's all good.
Oh, shit. Now, I gotta go. So, is music more of a personal fulfillment thing now that you do in your time?
It's always been that. Like, I got good enough to get paid to do it from time to time, but I never
But that's
wanted...
not the main...
I never wanted that to be, like, my primary... Because if that was, like, my primary thing, that would be, like, my primary source of income. And I never wanted music to be that. Because, you know, like, if you love something and you make it your job, like, literally, like, your life depends on doing this thing and doing it well, but you love it so much and you get so emotional about it, like, doing it as a job would just be ridiculously stressful. Like... Because inspiration, like, I mean, and definitely there's different schools of thought about inspiration. And that's fair. I just know for me personally, I would not want to do that. Like, I just wouldn't. Because if there was a day I was like, I don't feel like doing this. I don't want to write a song today. Like, if, like, my parent passed away or whatever, it's like, no, like, today I'm not doing anything. Like, something happened to somebody I care about, I'm not doing anything. But if I went... like the route that people think they need to go by, which is find somebody to like loan you a bunch of money and then slowly over time pay that back. It's like you're a slave, just like the person that works at the grocery store. You don't have a say in the things that you do.
Grocery store? You really want to say that?
Yes. Definitely there are people who enjoy working at the grocery store, but for the people who I've met who only work there as like a stepping stone, like they didn't actually get the job or the position they wanted, and so they worked there because the option was available and it was this or don't survive. Like, the person who is working for like somebody that loaned them a bunch of money, they might not even be making the things they want to make. But they don't have a say because they weren't the ones paying for it. And now, if they don't play ball, they could just have their whole life taken away. It's like, no wonder so many of them, like, turn to drugs or to alcohol. It's like, how do they ever feel like their life is their own? They don't feel... How would they feel like they had a choice in anything they did when they're always under a microscope? And if they poop wrong, like...
You gotta poop
they're gonna
right.
lose a sponsorship or something.
Poop right.
And then the company's gonna get mad, or whoever's gonna try and sue them, or like they can't sneeze in the right direction.
I swear
like
to God,
everything they do is wrong to somebody, to people who don't even know you, who don't even really care. And it's just like, I didn't want that to be my life. I wanted my relationships to be genuine. I wanted to choose what I did when I woke up in the morning. I don't feel like I'm doing that now, but that's definitely the goal for me. Is to figure out a way to have the things that I need, to not have to rely on other people, and to be able to choose my day, to choose my life, to choose how I spend it.
That sounds extremely practical of you. I'm going to have to ask, what's your birthday? What time are you born at? I'm going to drop a little chart right here.
Do I really need to
fucking piss on it and burn it! Sorry.
Okay.
Lots of punk rock on the Mr. Big Show. We like to piss on things and burn them.
Yeah, I felt that.
In a moment of silence for all of the
burn charts
burn shards
with piss on them.
with piss on them. No, it's a lot for me to think about. Honestly, I mean, it's a good perspective that you have. I think. I think that it sounds like you know what you got a good head on your shoulders. The direction that you take will lead you to what you want. You're doing a little bit of future planning, it sounds like, regardless, like whether it's music or travel or your daughter.
Yep.
You want a daughter?
Yeah.
Not a son.
Oh no, I want 2 boys too. But I want
one
them
daughter.
I want 2 boys who are older and a daughter that's the youngest.
So that you could
So
love
that
the
if-
daughter the most?
No, so that if anyone tries to fuck with her 2 brothers will beat him up.
Why wouldn't you do anything?
Because I'm not always going to be there. I imagine
The
if
brothers
they went
will?
to...
You're gonna
If they
send
go to
them
the
out?
same school...
They're not going to have...
Oh my God.
You're going to send them to public school too?
Not necessarily.
And just
They
get
could go to a private school and be together.
the same private school?
Yeah, a lot of private schools are K through 12.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that. Have you looked this up? You want kids pretty badly. I can feel it.
Actually, no. Actually, I talk about it like that because up until recently, I have always wanted kids. But I was talking to my mom, and we were trying to figure out whether or not we thought having kids was like moral, basically. And the conclusion that we
Classic.
came to was
Classic.
that
I love it.
whether you have a kid or you don't have a kid, you're selfish either way. Like, there's no way for... Because whatever decision you would make, you're making the decision for yourself.
That's exactly... Dude, okay, so I was literally...
But
I
we
did
were
Cadillac
like...
pizza delivery for Jericho, who just moved into a wonderful Victorian apartment downtown Redlands. Beautiful. And his other friends were there, and they were talking about how they don't want to have kids, but they have a cat. And I was like, well, that's because you couldn't take care of, like, kids. Like, you know, you could treat a cat. My argument was that you could treat animals like pets or whatever as good as humans. Like, there's significant overlap between humans and babies. And they were taking care of their animal well enough that they could take care of a baby.
Wait,
but
you mean...
they
so-
just don't want a baby. Like...
Yeah. Because, like, the cat's not going to grow up and talk back to them.
No, it was a whole nother thing. It was like... The discipline, like the level of discipline that you have to like give an animal, like
Yeah, if you're gonna do it on that level, yeah.
you can take care, like you can fucking put sweaters on a goddamn cat. You could take
Yeah,
him on
you
walks,
take him
you
to
could
the
give him a
vet to
super
get
fulfilled life,
checkups.
but you just let him be a goddamn brat. Like you're not capable of disciplining that little fucker at all. And then, like, that's the real reason why you don't want to have a kid, because you know it. You'd just be like, yeah, fuck it. You stabbed little Jimmy down the street. Well, you know, that's too bad.
Well, and I think that
there's a certain level of responsibility. Like, people are not willing to acknowledge, like, within themselves, whether or not they want to have a kid or not. Like, because I think it just happens.
Well, definitely for some people it does.
No, I mean,
like,
you could be infertile, like...
But I was about to say that like for some people they did want to choose to have one, but they didn't have any because they couldn't.
It doesn't matter what the fuck you want. It doesn't matter what the fuck you want. It just happens. Things just happen.
Well, but okay, but I mean,
you do get to choose a little bit. It feels like choosing a lot.
well, yeah.
It feels that way.
Because I mean, well, if you have sex with somebody and you end
Or
up
if
getting
you get a
pregnant
condom
and you
that
didn't
had
use a
some cum in
condom,
it and you
you
fucking
made the
shoved it up
decision.
there
That would be
after.
gross.
Kobe.
But
Oh,
you know
sorry.
what happens when you do that, like, but you're surprised that you're pregnant.
That you're pregnant.
And it makes
I love that accent.
What
But you're
accent?
surprised that you're pregnant. Like it. Maybe I'm just hearing shit. I don't know.
But I mean,
Play back
like,
that audio, young Jamie.
but I mean, yeah, like you made the decision for that to happen.
Maybe
but
you
that's
didn't. No.
no. I was about
No,
to
no,
say
no.
my little sister
no.
actually is an example because my godmom,
No, wait.
she
what?
thought
Oh.
that she couldn't get pregnant. She was told by the doctor that she could not get pregnant, that she was infertile. And so she's like, cool, I don't have to use condoms anymore. And then my little sister was born.
That's what happened to one of my ex-girlfriends.
So
who I moved to another country, and we don't talk about it. No, I'm kidding.
but certainly it was a surprise. It's like, okay, well, now I'm going to have this child. Like,
Wow.
but even then, it's
Beautiful
like,
miracle
even
of life.
once the child is born, it's just like people are going to be selfish anyway, want the things that they want for themselves. It's not like having a child. I don't necessarily think having a child always makes you more selfless, because if there's a time where the child is
I've
crying
said
and you
that.
get frustrated, is that selfless? You're not happy to continue to put down the child?
I think
So-
selflessness is like
It's
a
just not a
quality
thing,
independent
but-
of having a child. I think people put like undue importance on it.
Well, but I think that, like, I lost my train of thought. All right, next topic.
Having a child, I don't think changes you. I don't think it's like a major life change. Like if that's the first time you loved or cared about another thing, like to
Something
the point
wrong
where
with
you
you.
want, yeah, a lot of people, most people, like they're so oblivious in life that they've never experienced like that level or depth of love. I mean, I couldn't imagine how much more blissful it would be to love like a little baby of your own creation than it is like, you know, a cute little animal that you're taking care of, or
Yeah.
just even somebody else's baby, like you know, little baby relative. Like, can't you love them? I don't know. It makes
Yeah,
sense.
I would
It's just like
babysit
a
all the
different,
time.
like when it's under your care, like you take a lot of responsibility for it. It is your responsibility to some degree.
Yeah.
But ultimately, like, yeah, it's kind of like a reflection of who you are, and then a reflection of society, and then a reflection of just like our human nature and ability to be unique. Kids, that is. I didn't mean to interrupt you, make you lose
No,
your
you're
train of
good.
thought.
I guess the train wasn't going anywhere, so.
It sounded like it was. It was very interesting. Like, kids, man.
Kids, man.
Kids, man. So, this is the Mr. Big Show Midnight Club Dub Edition. First late night Mr. Big Show. What do you think? Should it be a thing?
I mean, I like it.
You're not too tired?
I'm tired, but
Would
I
you
get-
like to try one of these cacti seltzers? Maybe that'll pep you up.
I have to drive home. How long am I going to be here?
Well, I mean, the longest Mr. Big Show has been for 2 hours. We're not trying to break any Guinness World Records here, but basically it's as long. I don't think the iPhone has a movie recording limit on it, honestly. So
I think it does. It's the amount of space you have left on your card.
well, I got 256 gigs, so I don't
Should
think
be
we
good.
could take. I think we could do like.
Well, that's how much memory do you have after all of your applications and whatever photos and videos haven't uploaded to the
I
cloud?
have 190 gigs left,
Okay,
and I've recorded a couple of Mr. Big shows
cool.
of similar length. So I imagine, and it's plugged into a battery charger, so it's like
It'll
it
stay
charges-
alive.
Yeah, it's gonna stay alive. It goes
Cool.
on as long as you want. I mean,
All right.
you could realistically exit at any time, but I feel like you're one of the more interesting guests in many ways. So I would very much desire a pep up. A pep up.
All right,
Give me a
let's
pep
try the
up.
seltzer.
What flavor would you like?
It has
episode of
different
Mr. Big
flavors.
Show
It
is
looks like one
sponsored
color.
by Cacti Agave Spike Seltzer, courtesy of the Dumpster. Excuse me.
Wait, seriously? I mean, it does have spots on it, but
When I say the Dumpster, it means something like the dumpster, but not quite the dumpster, but realistically
pineapple.
the dumpster.
I want pineapple. Decision made.
What do you think about knives?
I like
a big
Kniffies.
knife fan,
Not a big knife fan.
little knife fan.
I mean, I'm a fan of cutlery
You like utensils?
because I like to cook. So
The Native Americans thought utensils were the devil. Some of them. They cooked in baskets with rocks and ate with wood or their hands because they thought that metal was bad for you. And they were probably right because
well, I mean, it is because copper, if you insert it into your uterus, is an IUD. Just because it's copper.
wow.
Copper has properties in it that kill bacteria just from it being around it.
Cheers to that.
So certainly some metals do have an effect on your body. Like everything around you could have an effect on your body.
Yeah, totally. No, I mean, well, it's an interesting concept. Like, you don't hear a lot of people talking about that, like cooking with baskets. Like they would boil.
That sounds so good. Now I want some fried rice.
The fuck? Okay, yeah.
I'm
I guess you
hungry.
could make rice in there.
I'm hungry now. How did that happen?
The Mr. Big Show kind of sucks because it takes place in a place where restaurants
snacks.
close. Well, usually there's
Here's
snacks.
the gas station.
Last time we were sponsored by Intamin's Donuts, and they supplied the snacks. These are all free sponsorships. I go out and buy this shit. What do you think?
I think that where they put the label is perfect.
I really like the label.
Cacti.
It tastes, it's like a blue agave beverage, so it's tequila-y.
Mm-hmm.
It's mixing
Is made with
interestingly
100%
this
premium blue
coffee.
agave from Mexico and natural flavors for a refreshing and bold taste.
It's pretty bold.
Pretty bold. Ingredients: water, cold fermented cane sugar, natural flavors, agave syrup, lime juice from concentrate, citric acid, malted rice. That actually is not a bad list.
There's your rice.
That's a pretty good list.
Yeah, I think these are a little bougie.
They are, yeah. Okay, Cacti.
Okay, Cacti.
I see you.
I see you there. Cacti, come to me. Sorry. Anyways.
Okay, about the
back
snacks.
to the meat of the Mr. Big Show. We'll
snacks.
feed you later.
Remember, I wasn't kidding about the cookies.
Oh, fuck. Well, I wasn't kidding about
So, snacks.
you being the first paid guest on the Mr. Big Show. So, as a courtesy, JoJo is getting... This is where we would insert the sound about, where's my $2? $2 to be on the Mr. Big Show. For her gas to get home. And we hope she does get home. Symbolic. I haven't paid anybody to be a guest. We're getting pretty dry on guests on the Mr. Big Show. I've scared people away. The the locking of the doors isn't the best move, but I have to do it. I have to be consistent. I have to trap people for the conversation's sake. So, tell me, what you didn't answer all of the questions that I had. So, music, what, when, how, why? You did the why. Wall pianos.
And I did the when.
And the when. You kind of did the how too. What kind of music do you make?
All kinds of music.
You need to talk into the microphone. Please. What kind of music do you make?
Music.
What musical instruments do you music on?
What kind do you play?
The kind that you play. Maybe here's a better question. Who are your inspirations?
I don't think that I have like a set list of them. Like it's just I feel like everyone inspires me in different ways. Like there's always something to learn from somebody, and I feel like I do that. Like I appreciate different artists and even like just different people in general for different reasons.
What are your favorite instruments?
I mean, I sing mostly, so my voice is my favorite instrument.
It is a pretty good voice, not gonna lie.
Thanks.
Other than your voice, like if you had to pick a second instrument, what would that be?
Dude, like that, I don't know. I don't even think guitar is my favorite instrument. But
Talking to the mic.
God damn it. I don't know. I don't have one. I mean, because I told you how many instruments I have at my house. Like,
You told me, you didn't tell the Mr. Big show.
I have so many instruments at my house. And I like playing all of them. I'm not good at all of them. I can play all of them. But, like, I just like music. I like creating things. So I like building my skills, being able to create with different things. And it's not just with music. It's like with other stuff. Like I've made handmade books before. It was an exhaustive process. It was ridiculous. Like staining the pages alone was like 8 hours. So it's like I do that. Like I built my cajon. Like I made a ukulele. I paint and draw. I just like
seems
making
like
stuff.
You never stop.
And write stuff. I just like making things.
If you had a purpose in life, what would it be?
I don't know that I can answer that question.
Can any of us?
No. What an unfair thing to ask.
Well, I was just seeing how egotistical you are. Some people might have something to say to that. Who knows?
I don't. No.
Yeah. Do you feel like life is a journey or a race? Because there was a sticker when I was in third grade that said life is a journey, not a race. But some people are racing pretty fast. And sometimes I wonder.
No, I just want everything to slow down so I can get off.
Stop the world, I want to get off.
Like the house that I want a house that's like as big as a castle. Like huge with like a biodome, and it's
You
like
want
a lot of
biodome?
land.
What the fuck?
Yes. And there's like
Why?
a lot of because then I can just like I can grow all the food that I need. It's like
What's the biodome do?
What do you mean? What does
What
the
is a
biodome do?
biodome? What is
It's
a
basically
biodome?
just a big greenhouse. But it's a greenhouse that's so big that like animals like it can be its own ecosystem.
You want to trap animals in a glass
No.
container?
No. It would be like we could open the doors so animals can come in and out, not like they would be trapped. They would just go outside.
It would be unsealed biodome.
Yes. That optionally sealed, like
You're gonna trap those animals in there
No,
sometime.
not to trap them, to keep them out.
To
Oh
keep
my
them out, how are
gosh.
you gonna check if they're all in there? It sounds like a big project. Like, how big is this fucking biodome?
Not huge.
But big enough for animals if they want.
Big enough. Yeah. But not but
It would be cool to have birds flying in like a greenhouse, like a giant greenhouse.
so something like that. So
For food, or like, how are you gonna?
well, for food, the biodome is not going to be able to like hold all the food. It might not even have any. There's like going to be a separate garden. Because the irrigation system would have to work differently for the garden versus the biodome.
And
I mean, it could just
are you
function
gonna
on the
have
same
maids'
one, but
quarters in the castle?
of course there's going to be maids' quarters.
You're gonna have a maid.
Of course.
You don't like cleaning?
No, I don't like cleaning.
Why not?
I will clean up. Sometimes I like cleaning. That's a lie. When I'm upset, I like to clean because it makes me feel like some part of my life is right for once.
the physical organization of your house.
Yeah, like
that could be right all the time. That could be a consistent factor that's
But it's
correct
not.
in your life.
because things start to go things start to go awry when I feel fine because I'm like, "Oh, I feel great." Like it's okay that I could just leave this mess. Like I'm still functional, and then eventually once everything in my life feels like it's so stressful, I'm just like everything being a mess at the same time is just too much.
Do you think
So
the
it's
two
like,
are just
I have to clean
correlated
everything.
or causally related?
I think they're just correlated because I don't think that things being messy is what makes me upset because like I don't feel frustrated until I start to get behind on something. And then if that causes something else to get behind, like now I'm stressed about those things. And so it's like
Least common
if I just need
denominator.
to get something done and I
Yeah.
can't get everything done right now, I'm at least going to get this done so that something is done.
I get it.
So
Cleaning's fun.
it's like a motivator to make me like feel confident that I'm completing things. Cool. Then I'll take that emotion of I can do this. I can do anything. I just cleaned everything and it's done now. I can do the next thing. And so then I'll finish the next thing and knock it out. Really, I should just get better at not procrastinating and managing my time. But I'm just saying how I'm dealing with things currently.
Sounds like a pretty fun up and down cycle. I mean, are you subjecting anybody else to this right now?
Not anymore.
Oh boy.
I mean, actually, not really ever because I'm realizing that I'm like pretty closed off a lot of the time. And
You have a dog, right?
yes,
She's very cute.
she is cute.
What's her name?
Her name is Mia. Meija.
She spells it weird.
That's
that's
how
alright.
her name was spelled when I got her. I thought it was
The
interesting,
dog
so I
spells
kept
her
it.
name weird. That's what I meant.
So
She bit my knee when I met her.
she didn't know you.
I think it's an interesting part of a
If
body
somebody
to
you
bite.
didn't know just like
I wouldn't
walked
bite their
into
knee.
your
I'd
house,
bite, like maybe their face or their finger. I don't know.
you
Not-
would shoot them. At least she didn't kill you.
She bit my knee. She's like, I'm gonna shoot him in the knee. Does your dog have a gun?
No,
Okay, good.
I don't think
Thank
so.
God. I don't think so. Where would you put it? She is
She
coming
just
in and
tucks it
out.
underneath her harness when I'm not looking.
She pulls it out.
Every time we go outside and I put her harness on, she's always cool because she's like, I know I'm strapped.
Always strapped.
So I get it, 'cause the harness is just strapped.
Yes, it's very funny actually.
So itty. So itty.
Smitty?
Switty.
I knew you'd like that one. Sometimes we just like to sit and bullshit on the Mr. Big Show. Sometimes we sit in silence on the Mr. Big Show.
Sometimes it lasts longer than 10 seconds.
Dead air is kind of weird for the people who don't get to look at things.
That's true. Sorry, listening people.
No.
The show was not over. We were just taking a long pause.
Yeah, long pause. Look out the window. Enjoy wherever you're at. Unless you're in prison, and then hopefully your prison has windows.
That'd be... Oh, did I tell you that I watched somebody get arrested outside of my window yesterday?
Wow, what happened?
So apparently there's like my neighbor, one
Sells
of her
drugs?
kids. No.
Does drugs?
No.
Boofs drugs?
Stop. One of her kids did something to this guy who lives down the street to his kid. Her kid is like 2 and his kid is like 8. But he was upset about it. Who knows? Maybe there was some other motivation. But that's all that I gathered from what the cops told me. So I have a security camera outside my window. And I caught the whole thing. The guy, I didn't see him come down the street. But I heard my neighbor's car go off. And I was like, oh my gosh, like again? Because her alarm goes off every time like a loud truck drives by. So I was just like, nothing even drove by. Like, why is it going off again? Like, is it just getting more sensitive? And so then I heard yelling, and so I stood up. Apparently this guy walked by, and he kicked her car door in. And then was, like, yelling at her, like, yelling at their house. And so he walked away, but I heard him yelling as he went down the street. I guess Deanna watched him go inside of his house. And so because they had come outside to turn the car off to see what happened, they saw the damage. And then at some point while they were standing there, they turned and looked, and the guy was charging at them with a knife. So they took off running to try and get inside of their house before he got there, and they were most of them were able to get in. One guy wasn't able, didn't even see him soon enough. No, it was his dad. And so he charged at them. One guy didn't see him or was too far away to get back into the house, so he just took off running down the street, and the guy tried to chase him, but the guy who took off was too fast and too far away. So he's just like walking back down the street with a knife, just like cussing at him, like just yelling whatever. And so then one of the neighbors said they called the cops. And so he went and he hid the knife. He hid it somewhere, put it somewhere at his house.
It down.
He took it back. And then he came back and was just hanging out outside, like yelling through all the windows. Like he stopped at my door at one point and then kept going and knocked on one of the other neighbors' doors. And I guess like that neighbor had spoken to this guy before because that neighbor is friends with one of his roommates or something, or somebody that lives next to him. So he was coming outside for something, and this dude who had been yelling just kept like yelling in his face about like random things. And he was like, I come from a place where like I'll cut your throat before I talk to you, and just like all in this dude's face about it. And so then it was like eventually I started to hear sirens, and I was like watching just in case like something happened, in case he kicked the door in or in case he got a hold of somebody. And so I heard the sirens go off, and this dude was still just talking at the neighbor. And then the cops pulled in on both sides of the street, like they blocked off the street. And then they got out with their guns, like the whole like hands in the air, like get on the ground, cross your ankles, like put his knee on the guy's neck to like take all the stuff off of him.
Your own dick.
like the whole thing. And they finally got him into the police car, and he kept trying to kick the windows out. And so all
like
of the
a crazy
officers,
motherfucker he is.
all of the officers went over there, and they were like, "If you don't calm down, we're gonna have to tase you."
We're gonna have
And
to
he
tase
was
you.
like, "Do it, do it!
Do
Like
it,
I dare
fucking
you!"
bitch.
And so they tased him, and they had to call the ambulance to take him to the
My
hospital.
heart. Oh,
So,
why'd you tase me?
We were told that he's gonna be in prison, but like we don't know, because
They'll
who
let him out.
knows? Who knows?
Oh, they'll let him out.
And then here's the icing on the cake. His girlfriend walked by all pissed, like, "I'm gonna find out who called the cops on my man."
What
We're
did they look
"What the
like?
fuck?" The dude was wearing a wife beater. He has tattoos all over his face, his head. Like he has
Is
sleeves.
he homeless?
No, he lives in the house at the very top of our street, the greenhouse on the end.
Oh no, not the greenhouse.
And I was walking by there the other day, and there were 3 people standing outside. It was 2 guys and 1 girl with red hair, wearing a red top. But I didn't look because I kind of got a weird vibe from them. So I just like didn't make eye contact and just turned the corner and kept walking. And then come to find out, this crazy dude with a knife lives in that house. So it's like, maybe that's why I was like, I gotta stay away from that house. Like, I probably shouldn't walk down the street anymore.
The street you live on?
The straight way. Their house is technically on that street on the right hand side when you're going down. Yeah.
Nice.
Big greenhouse at the top of Wild
Stabby.
Roses Lane.
Did I tell you about the drunk children I encountered?
What were they? Were they actually drunk on alcohol?
Did I tell you about that?
No. What the heck? How did that happen?
I
Did you
was-
give them rum balls?
No, I didn't do it to them. They did it to themselves.
Okay. All right.
So, I was walking Buster, and I just walked him around the block like a normal short walk at night. And there are these 2 people, and one of them was screaming very loudly. Ah. And then I saw like a truck parked all weird.
With the tongue too.
Yeah, with the dude. You'll find out in a second.
Oh man.
So there's a truck parked all weird. So I was like, okay, let's see. Maybe somebody needs help. Like, whatever. And truck drives away. It's this girl, little blonde girl, and she's being held by this like one of the Jonas Brothers, and she's just screaming, lots of tongue. So I was like, hey, do you need help? Like, are you okay? And she's like, I'm fine. And then breaks out of Joe Jonas's
Brothers.
grasp and charges at me. And it's like, whoa. Like, holds onto my collar. And I see now that she's like 16, 15, like baby face. Baby. Tiny little baby. Very illegal. Like, anyways, so I'm like, are you okay? Like, get off of me. Like, and then I pushed her off, and she just like kind of like tumbled backwards a couple times, did like a Willy Wonka cartwheel or something, and
landed on both feet.
yeah, it was funny and sad, mostly funny. And then her Jonas brother was like, hey man, her dad just beat me up, and you know what, if you're not gonna give me a ride home, just fucking leave. And I'm like, that's very presumptuous of you, young man.
How am I gonna give you a ride as I'm walking around the corner?
No. I was like, maybe I will help this like kid, as like his girlfriend's trying to beat me up. I'm like, maybe he's in trouble, maybe he's getting beaten up. And then he pulls that, and I'm like, that's very presumptuous of you, Joe Jonas, asking for a ride to Arrow Bear, which is, oh shit, we
That's
don't
kinda
live
far.
anywhere. It's in Ohio. We actually live on Planet 9. Don't tell anybody.
Okay.
So very far away ride, and very drunk boy. Drunk boy. And I'm like, well, do you want me to, like, call someone? Like, your mom, maybe, you know? your dad, like, he's like, no, you just gotta give me a ride. If you're not gonna help, then leave. And I'm like, and the young woman is, like, beating on this, like, thudding on this Jonas. Boom.
Don't break the microphone.
Whap.
Were you hitting your nipples on purpose?
That's the sound of me rubbing my nipple on purpose. Don't me to me. Gonna edit that out just to be sure. Did you consent to that? Do you retroactively consent to that? Can we clear this up right now? Like, was that okay with you? I didn't ask, but I'm nervous now.
Me too.
Well, I guess that's for me too. He rubbed his nipple with a microphone at me, and I felt very uncomfortable. And then he turned the mic off. And I'm not going to tell you what he did off camera. He bent over.
And then he touched his toes and he told me to watch. And after that, he paid me $500 and told me to get out. This is horrible.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And that's why the Mr. Big show got canceled.
Oh, man, for real, I've been here talking for no reason. I'm going home.
No. Stay here. We're not done with the story about the JOJO-ness.
Okay.
Basically, I left, and then as soon as I started walking away, the cops showed up. And
Perfect timing.
probably arrested them. Yeah.
Perfect timing.
I thought it was pretty funny. I was like, you can walk over here this way, and, like, we could get you out of the street so you're not screaming in the middle of the street. But it was already too late. That's what happens when you don't listen.
That would have been wise.
Yeah. Wisdom comes with age, even a little bit of it. Smattering.
Yeah, like you learn not to put aluminum foil in the microwave.
Fuck, you did
not
not.
to walk down dark alleys at night.
That's fun. Come on, I still like to do that. Knife out, screaming things at people. That actually crazy man was me. I live at that house. That's what I look like in a wife beater. We live in a crazy place sometimes. I don't know. I think it's just small, so you see shit. Nobody gets murdered. Except for that kid last year.
Except for almost my neighbor.
Except for that kid last year. He got shot. They killed a kid. He was trespassing. You deserved it. No. Totally fucking kidding. He did not deserve it. You shouldn't shoot children.
I feel like you should put a disclaimer on this episode.
I put a parental advisory before every episode.
Cool.
TVMA.
Yep. It's needed. I had to censor that part out of my album because my friend and I was really sick. Like a majority of my second album, I was super sick because I came back to Vegas to do
Talking to the mic.
and
Don't make me fuck with the game.
I came back to Vegas to do the recording, and I don't know, like something with the pollen, just I was fucked up. So I was on like a bunch of different types of medications, just taking everything under the sun and drinking a hot toddy every 30 minutes to an hour and doing the neti pot and like trying to keep myself like cleared out to sing these songs. And so there was one day I took like a weird combination of stuff. I was just like loopy. Like I'm pretty sure I was high. And my friend and I were singing in the same room together. And you know, like when you're in the soundproof booth, you can't hear them unless they talk to you through the headphones. Like the room is soundproof. So like if nothing is turned on, you're not going to get your point across. And so after we did the take, like the guy who was recording it and mixing it, he was like clapping, and then like the producer was like, yeah, and he like had his hands in the air, and we're like, we don't know what you're saying. And for some reason, that was just the most hilarious thing ever, because I was on a bunch of stuff and I just couldn't stop laughing. And so that made Bree laugh because I was being ridiculous. And then we were like, this is so fun. We should do this all the time. And we were like, yeah, it's all because of the drugs. We're like, yay, Oxycontin. They're like,
Oxys
yeah, we
for
probably
sale.
shouldn't put that.
We got oxys for
Probably
sale.
shouldn't put that in
Probably
the
shouldn't
album
put
because
that
kids are probably going
in
to
the
listen
podcast.
to the non-explicit songs.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, can't advocate for that because it's not in the song. So you can get away with stuff if it's in the song. Not necessarily. Because definitely that guy that got arrested because he flashed all of the EDD cards in his video
You
and
can't
rapped
do that.
about it in his song.
No.
That still got him busted. So I guess there's a line. You gotta walk the line. You can't go too far on one
It's
side or
like
the
what
other.
Johnny Cash says.
Exactly.
I hurt myself today. Oh, sorry. Wrong song. Yes, Mr. Big Show. What does your shirt say? Moto. What?
This is a free hoodie that I got from my job.
From Revzilla.
Yeah, because I ordered a new set of gear.
What kind of gear did you get?
I got a new Bell helmet. And it's got MIPS in it,
You like me?
which I say is fancy, but it's not super fancy. I mean, it's fancy enough. It's not Narai, but whatever. It's fancy. And
You
then
wanna buy an Arai? Buy an Arai?
I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like it's among the safest helmets out there.
Helmets
Handmade in Japan. Like, doing good.
Japan.
I
Have
like
you
it.
ever been to Japan?
Not yet.
Have you ever been out of the country?
Went to Mexico twice.
Where'd you go?
To TJ for like an hour. And then I don't remember what the
Una
name of the
hora?
other place was, but it was further down. Like, it was on the coast. I rode a camel.
You do that in Washington.
Well, I didn't know that, so I did it down there.
No, I'm just saying they have camels everywhere.
So
Nowadays they put a camel
There's
goddamn
zebra.
on the fucking corner of the street.
There's
$2
zebra
you
at
can
Hearst
fucking
Castle.
Stick your fish sharp. Like I'm sorry, camel. Smoke Camel cigarettes. Non-filter. Healthy.
that sounds so uncomfortable.
Have you ever smoked an unfiltered Camel cigarette? You used to be a smoker. You used to ruin your wonderful voice with horrible cigarettes.
I actually think it helps sometimes.
I think it helps.
Yeah,
it develops
gives you,
a
like,
that raspy
raspy-
quality
Exactly.
that sounds very nice. Bah.
I don't know. I think it just dried me out without me smoking weed because I can't be high for every performance.
Why not?
Because I'd forget the words. I'd forget how to play a fucking B flat.
You
That's
prob-
why.
You
No, I gotta have my wits about me. So
Gotta be firing on all 2 cylinders.
it would help keep things like dry
like a
and
motorcycle.
like tight. I don't know how to explain it. It's hard to
Dry and
explain.
tight. You like it dry and tight for your voice, so that it's raspy.
I don't like it super moist.
Mm.
I need dry mouth. I need a good balance.
I
I can't be too hydrated, but I can't be too underhydrated. But
for
it's
when you
like in
have
order,
wet mouth,
but I
smoke
can't-
cigarette
like, because
makes you dry
if
and
it's
tight.
too wet, then I can't do anything. Like, I don't know how to make it
the
more
notes just
dry
slide around.
other than to smoke. And then once it is kicked back down to really dry, I can adjust how much water I drink. Like, I can adjust how hydrated it is. So I can fine tune the hydration in my mouth and in my throat.
Hydration is key, folks. I think that's the real lesson here.
So, Yeah. Definitely though, practice is helpful
Practice makes perfect. Practice smoking.
because
What's your favorite cigarette to practice smoking?
I like Marlboro Reds.
Marlboros?
Yeah.
Marlboro?
Marlboro. Marlboro
Would you like a
Rojo.
Marlboro, bro? We have one of
Yeah,
every kind
I
of
don't know.
cigarette here. No. Yeah, they're banning
Lots of people really love Newports.
Newports.
Like they're okay. Like they're really light. I
They're-
could probably like if
they're
I
a
hadn't
very
smoked in a
heavy
while.
cigarette.
Huh?
What do you mean?
Really? No, I don't feel like they're as heavy as the Reds or the Blacks.
Well, blacks
No
is like when
way.
you hate yourself and you want to smoke bad tobacco. At
Pretty
least a red,
much.
you feel like a cowboy or a red-blooded American. But like, yeah, Newport's it's nice and minty, but you know it's pretty strong cigarette.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. It just tastes lighter, I guess. It's got better
What tastes
mouthfeel.
What tastes heavy to you? I don't know. Okay, I guess I get it. Mouthfeel. Yeah, cigarettes are weird. I feel like they're fun, but you
Yeah,
know,
every now and again.
not the
They
most
fuck
fun
you
thing in
up
the
long
world.
term.
It's kind of like Twinkies. Cigarettes and Twinkies are
I do
almost.
not like
You
Twinkies.
do not like Twinkies.
I hate Twinkies.
Do you like Coca-Cola?
No.
Do you like what's quintessential American diet? Cheeseburgers?
I don't like cheddar cheese or American cheese.
Fuck, you're fucked.
I'll eat.
'Cause
I would eat the
rations on
burger,
Mr.
but I
Big
can't
Show
eat
are
it right now.
Cheeseburgers, Coke, and
I don't eat beef
cigarettes.
right now. Beef's not in my diet right now.
Do you have beef with beef? Why are you why?
Because
Just 'cause no beef?
I think that meat messes me up. I'm just trying to figure out like what my body responds
Irritable
best
meat
to.
syndrome?
No, I actually feel better without eating meat. But I don't feel like I feel like I don't have as much energy when I eat meat, but I wasn't eating enough protein with the stuff that I was eating. I was eating too many carbohydrates and hanging on to them. And I don't know. Like it's just I'm trying to figure out like what types of carbohydrates and what types of proteins I need to eat for my body to not yell at me.
I think that's important.
So it seems like some meats I'm not cool with, but some meats I am cool with. I think
Sushi?
fish is fine. Yeah. I didn't eat meat for like a month and a half, I think. And then the first meat that I ate was fish, and I felt fine. I felt great after. So I think fish is fine. But I haven't eaten beef in a long. Well, I did have some beef. I had a little bit because it was mixed in a plate with some pork, and I was trying to eat the pork, but there was like beef stuck to it. But that wasn't like a whole meal of it.
Interesting.
But I felt kind of fine the next day. But that was only when I wasn't eating carbohydrates. So before I wasn't eating meat, I was just eating carbs or mostly eating that, and then I switched.
Nice.
So
I'm going to make some pulled pork, I think, for the next Mystic Mountain barbecue. It's going to be in the next couple of
Ooh.
weeks. Y'all should come. Mystic Mountain Music in Crestline. Nowhere near anywhere close to anything related to the Mr. Big Show, but very close to you, my viewers. Come visit. Eat some pulled pork. And you're welcome to come too.
How are you gonna cook it though?
In a crock pot. I know what I'm doing. You're like, okay.
All right, I trust you. What sauce though?
Stubbs. It's in a glass bottle. It worked last time. I liked it.
How long are you gonna cook it?
Like 16 hours. I know what I'm
Alright.
doing.
All
I
right,
go-
I trust you.
I go barbecue things, and well, it's not even barbecuing.
Now
it's
I'm
making
even
shit in the crock pot.
hungrier. Now I want
Well,
pulled pork.
Oh,
And it's
that
already
sucks.
past 10 o'clock. God damn.
Everybody wanted.
It's
pulled
also
pork.
past 11, huh? I don't know. I don't have my phone.
Yep, you're not allowed to have anything on the Mr. Big Show. You're locked in here, trapped. Are you really hungry? You want to eat something? Holy shit. Well, now I'm put in a delicate position. Here we are on the Mr. Big Show. I guess we'll just have to come back and get an update.
Where?
Well, I know you're okay with that. It's been a wonderful Mr. Big Show. And end scene.